So wura yinga Vanessa Farrelly, Horseshoe Bend Arinya, yinga Lurabinta Arinya. So yeah, my name is Vanessa Farrelly and my family is from Horseshoe Bend, which is on the Finke River. Yeah, and so my family is Pertame, so Southern Outlander, and so our country starts like 80 kilometres south of Alice Springs and follows the Finke River down, and yeah, we're the people of the Finke River. What drives me to keep going is, our language is critically endangered. There aren't too many people who can speak it fluently, and those who can are, getting older and getting on. And so, yeah, we're at this kind of tipping point in the future of what happens to Pertame language. And yeah, and I think a lot of Aboriginal languages all over Australia are at this same kind of point, whether they're just being reclaimed or whether they're spoken fluently by most members of the community. It's just, yeah, and so Pertame, it's so important to who my grandmother is as a person because that was her first language, and that was the language she grew up speaking, and she grew up on her country, connected to that place and that language, and her old people who have now passed on. And yeah, that's like a huge part of who she is, and she's the strongest person. And if we're going to get, continue to be strong Pertame people, we need to keep our language strong. Yeah, and also to look after that country, we need to be able to speak the language of that country too. Because, yeah, without language, like how are we going to keep our country healthy, like communicate to it, talk to it? So yeah, and it's also for the identity of the young people too. So yeah, we know who we are and we know where we're going, and we know that we've got a future where we can be proud of ourselves and our culture and our language. In 5 years' time, I'd like to see, our kids being taught Pertame on country by the older generations, and that's like the middle generations as well, not just the grandparent generation. So we have plans to start up Pertame School, which is we'll take the kids out to our outstation, which is like 120 kilometres south of Alice Springs, and teach them language, but also teach them about Pertame country and Pertame kinship and responsibilities and culture, and language too. And yeah, and that's just healing for us, giving the older people like some responsibilities and to teach language, but also getting the younger people out on country, because so often it's so hard for us to get out of town and get back there, and yeah, bring our outstation back to life.